Officer Daniel Reeves had spent most of his adult life learning how to disappear in plain sight. Not literally, he wore a uniform after all, but emotionally. He spoke less than others. He listened more. When people raised their voices, Daniel lowered his. When situations grew tense, he slowed everything down. It wasn't strategy. It was survival. And over time, it became respect. That evening, his shift ended later than usual. Paperwork, a delayed call, a conversation with a young officer who still believed doing the right thing was always rewarded. Daniel didn't correct him. He remembered believing that too. His phone buzzed as he drove. It was his sister, Emily. Her voice sounded tired. Not panicked, just worn thin. "Can you stop by?" she asked. "Just for a bit." Daniel didn't ask questions. He turned toward Hawthorne Ridge, a community known for stone entry signs, iron gates, and rules printed in elegant fonts. He parked carefully along the curb, directly under a streetlight. The squad car was clean, clearly marked, and impossible to mistake for anything else. He noticed the sign. No commercial vehicles overnight. Strictly enforced. Daniel exhaled slowly. He would be inside less than an hour. Across the street, behind carefully chosen curtains, Karen Whitmore noticed everything. Karen noticed when trash cans were out too long, when curtains were the wrong color, when guests stayed past what she believed was appropriate. And tonight, she noticed the squad car. Her jaw tightened. It wasn't fear. It wasn't concern. It was irritation. Rules, in Karen's mind, were a reflection of order, and order was something she had earned. 12 years in the neighborhood. 6 years on the HOA board. She believed consistency mattered, especially when exceptions were made quietly. She pulled out the HOA handbook, the pages soft from use, certain sections highlighted and annotated. There it was. No overnight vehicles of any kind. No exceptions listed. Karen didn't knock on doors. She didn't leave notes. She made calls. At 11:47 p.m., she spoke calmly to a towing service she had used before. "Yes," she said. "It's unauthorized. I'm approving the removal." When she hung up, she felt settled. Outside, the squad car sat quietly, unaware that it had just crossed someone's invisible line. The missing car
Morning.
and the
Everything
wrong
all right?
assumption.
Yes, officer.
Morning
Just heading to
came
work.
softly
All right.
to
Have a good day.
Hawthorne
Thanks, you
Ridge.
too.
Take care.
Birds. Sprinklers.
Officer, what is that on
Garage
the road?
doors humming
Not
open.
sure, ma'am. We're looking
Daniel
into
stepped
it.
outside with a
strange.
travel mug in his hand and stopped.
Ma'am, is this
The
regarding the road
curb was
marking?
empty.
Yes, officer.
For a
Here
brief
is the
moment, he
report.
simply
Thank you.
stood there. Not shocked. Not
Morning, officer.
angry.
Morning.
Just
Busy day?
processing.
Always.
He
You
checked
too,
the
by
surrounding
looks of it.
streets.
You know it.
Then his phone. Then he called dispatch. "My assigned vehicle is missing. Last location was Hawthorne Ridge." He didn't accuse. Didn't speculate. Inside the HOA, speculation exploded. Karen wasted no time. In the neighborhood group chat, she posted about consistent enforcement and community standards applying equally. She never used Daniel's name. She didn't have to. The implication hovered like humidity. Some neighbors felt uneasy. A few privately messaged Daniel's sister to apologize, quietly, anonymously. Emily received a violation notice that afternoon. Karen hand-delivered it. "I just want to be transparent," Karen said with a pleasant smile. "Rules exist for a reason." Daniel thanked her. That response unsettled Karen more than anger would have. That night, she told a friend she'd finally drawn a line. She slept well, convinced she had corrected an imbalance. Meanwhile, the squad car sat behind a locked fence, transmitting its location steadily. And someone important was watching. Confidence turns into evidence. The chief reviewed the report slowly. Not because he was confused, but because experience had taught him that rushed conclusions caused damage. The GPS location was clear. The tow authorization was clearer. A civilian request. HOA credentials attached. Digital signature. Karen Whitmore. There was also a recorded call. Polite. Confident. Unmistakable. The chief leaned back in his chair. He didn't call immediately. That evening, Karen chaired an HOA meeting. She spoke about accountability, about leadership, about how uniforms don't exempt anyone. Daniel sat in the back row, silent, still. When the door opened and the chief stepped in, the room shifted without a sound. Karen smiled until she recognized who he was. Daniel stood. The chief nodded once. The meeting was adjourned. When authority meets accountability, Karen insisted this was a misunderstanding. She spoke quickly, confidently. The chief listened without interrupting. Then he placed documents on the table. Tow authorization. Time stamps.
Audiotranskript.
Karen's words, preserved exactly as she'd spoken them.
Her posture changed.
This was no longer about rules. It was about boundaries she didn't know existed. This isn't an HOA issue, the chief said quietly. This is about possession. The room remained silent. Karen realized something then, not dramatically but deeply. Her authority had only ever existed within agreement. And agreement had limits. After the gates opened, Karen resigned quietly. The HOA reviewed its policies. Some residents spoke for the first time in years. Daniel never told the story himself. He didn't need to. Weeks later, his squad car sat in the same place again. No one called. No one complained. The rules were still posted, but they felt different now. Less like weapons. More like guidelines.